You know, it's appropriate that we got the Violins GF in this volume, because I want to choose violence at the start of this video. And given the state of media literacy that I'm going to be dealing with, I want to make it very clear that I am referring to metaphorical violence. Now, this does have to do with 100 Girlfriends dealing with a self-righteous hater. But if you'd rather just get to me talking about Volume 14 properly, go to this time. Now for context, earlier this month, I received a very interesting email. I won't say who it's from or anything like that, I am not about doxing. But it's also not really the first time I have received a message of this sort. This is just some random person who takes umbrage with my videos of 100 Girlfriends due to the content of the series being a fan service show in a high school setting. And you know what? If that's not your thing, that's something that makes you uncomfortable, that's something that you just genuinely do not like, that is perfectly fine. There are things even I find uncomfortable in this series, even though I, overall, enjoy it. I am happy to point out that stuff when I need to, and I will be doing so in this video, and I am also happy to defend your ability to critique and talk negatively about a series that I love in a healthy fashion. However, this is not the case. The negative emails, comments, and so on I have received geared towards the 100 Girlfriends have been decidedly unhealthy. It could just be one very dedicated person with multiple accounts, or a very small handful of people. But the fact remains that they are going on a crusade against this honestly pretty niche series. And the thing is, it seems to be just this series. Like, I'm sure that they are more than likely upset with other series, but when I received the first email that sparked me talking about this in this video, the last thing I posted was about Prisma Elia, a series with infinitely worse fan service. And despite what the comments of that video would have you think, I did review that series positively despite me disliking that kind of fan service. That video was not mentioned in that email, only my 100 Girlfriends content. So it is definitely targeted towards this series for some strange reason. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, if this has happened before, what is different about this email that spurred me into discussing it? Well, because previously, they've just been kind of funny. These sanctimonious Puritan types are generally not worth my time. I do find them sad in a way, fixating so much on fictional characters that do not hurt anyone, and getting themselves into such a twist when they could just avoid it altogether. You are able to cater your internet experience pretty easily nowadays. So if you do not like something, you do not have to engage in it or even see it. And at first, I did just write this email off like the others and went to have a bit of a laugh with my friends. But as I was talking, I began to get heated. I went off on a rant, which is when I realized this person really pissed me off. And that was because of one thing they said. That they were willing to pay me to remove the videos. That they were, quote unquote, willing to put their money where their mouth is. They came to my emails offering me, some random schlub, money to remove videos about a fucking cartoon because they were high off of their own moral superiority. They have the gall to say that they will put their money where their mouth is, instead of donating that money to an organization like Darkness to Light to potentially help real people, to help real minors who aren't fictional 2D caricatures. But they won't do that, because people like this don't actually give a shit about doing the right thing. They only like they care about doing the right thing. They care about being superior, about the perception of being a good person when they aren't. And I am not saying that I'm a good person. I'm just a person trying their best. I'm not going to say that cartoons of teenage girls wrapped in hair bondage is a good thing, but this is fiction. It is a cartoon. It's not some propaganda brainwashing piece of media. It's not real. No real person is getting hurt. So why are people throwing a hissy fit over it when there are real people, real teens, real kids being hurt right now? If you don't like it, more power to you. Put out a negative review. Do things like that. But once you do that, move on. Don't keep interacting with it, or people that do interact with it, and use this energy to do more important things that make the world a better place. Ask yourself, does pointing at a screen at a bunch of brightly colored lines and harassing some idiot with an anime waifu icon help people that you are saying you care about protecting? Or does it just make you feel good about yourself because it's easier than dealing with the real stuff? To the person who sent that email, if you are watching this, you are a sanctimonious, egotistical hypocrite. And I genuinely hope that you find a way to take this energy that you have to actually make a difference in the world for the better, instead of channeling it into all of this shit that does not matter. We can do better than this. And that is the piece that I want to say about that. So hopefully, I will never have to do something like this again, but I will likely have to do something like this again. That is 100% future me's problem. So with that, let's talk about volume 14 of the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. To those who skipped to this point, hello again. Things got really heavy there, so I hope that you don't mind if we're going to be low energy in this video so as not to give the people who made it through that too much whiplash. And so we start this volume up with a date with the tsundere trio, Karane, Kurumi, and Mai, going to a shrine with Rentaro. Everyone else is busy, and I have just noticed that they seem to put that note in every chapter like this. Regardless of that, it's a love shrine, unrelated to the other one, and there's a lot of love confessing and overcoming soonness in this chapter, which does showcase that Kurumi isn't really that tsundere compared to the other two, which is kind of cute. Though, I will admit that the Mai stick is wearing thin at this point in terms of execution. I like the fact that she loves Mei so much that it competes with her feelings for Rentaro, but I don't know, she feels way more one trick than any of the other girls so far. I think she may just need more character chapters where she's the focus or a major focus, but right now it's just getting a bit graded. But that gripe aside, we are onto a new girlfriend, Bio-rin. Oh my god. Oh my god. I just realized that her name is a pun for the Japanese pronunciation of violin. I'm a damn fool. Genuinely, that realization came to me while writing the script, and I've done my best to recreate it. But this bit of wordplay is important because this fine gentle lady is a violinist, and because violin sounds very similar to violent, which is a thing she also loves. Yes, dearest Rin, despite her parents' best efforts, is a fan of violence of all sorts. And when she gets really into it, she does her best impression of the cutest girl in the world and exclaims, "How violent!" And this is the point where people who read the fan translation start freaking out, and I gotta address that in my layman amateur way. The official translation of 100 Girlfriends has several differences for catchphrases of the characters, such as removing Kusuri's yep yep, only for it to be vindicated in the English dub.
Yep.
In the case of Rin, fan translators have her exclaim molto violento, which is Italian for very violent. But if we look at the original Japanese, thank you Wiki for assisting me in this part, she is exclaiming violensua, which is a combination of the English word violence and the Japanese phrase desua. To make things very simple, desua is how a fine, upstanding young lady would show politeness ending a sentence. So, Rin saying how violent in the official translation, I believe, is meant to be similar to a young aristocrat saying, how quaint. I do think quite violent would have gotten that across a bit better, but that's just me. Although, speaking a foreign language like Italian does show class, and can get that across pretty well. Though, with that thinking, I personally would have gone with the French très violent, mostly because French feels more hoity-toity as a language. Though, all options still miss out on the pun aspect of the original Japanese, which I think is important. So I want you, yes you, watching this video as your eyes start to glaze over, put in the comments how you would translate the phrase violensua into English, keeping both the wordplay and the intention of politeness / high society talk. And while you're mulling that over, we continue on with the chapter as Rentaro escorts Rin to an arcade where she gets to discover the safe displays of wanton violence that are video games. After she cracks her facade, Rentaro of course accepts her and she joins the family. Honestly, being super into violent media is like the most normal any of the girls have been. Let's be very real about that. This makes Rin easily the most normal girlfriend after Shizuka. Anyway, the next chapter is her introduction to the family, and the activity they choose to start the bonding process is Zombie Nurse Tag. This is fully just an excuse to have the girls and Rentaro dress up as nurses, and I ain't mad about that. Though that is about as much as I can really say. It's cute, pretty much everyone is acting how you would expect, completely lampshading zombie movie tropes and all. Then we have a natty chapter titled Godspeed to the Natish Language, May It Be Eternal, which is the greatest sentence I have heard in months. We start off the chapter with Natty talking normal, because another teacher got on her case for using so much Midwestern American slang while teaching Japanese. This, of course, leads to a confrontation with the other teacher and a discussion about how intention in language is more important than actually understanding words, which is quantifiably false, but I appreciate the sentiment. And to prove that Natty can be understood, the family has to translate her Natish as she reads pre-written text. The original text is on the screen, and what she says is as follows. Sometimes in life, y'all get a dag-nabbit shoot my boots. One day, yonder, these Smash Brothers be brawlin', with their life on the line. But for one hot minute, thems go hand in hand like peas in a pod. But destiny brings a meeting, causing some mighty hoo-ha. And the boys are all fuck you and fuck you with an unfuckable fuck. I'm adding that last bit to my lexicon, but through the power of love, the family is able to translate that gobbledygook and win the day. Save for Yaku, who barely understands modern words at the best of times. But the power of love was still involved, though this time arriving in chicken scratch. Next we have a chapter that I hate, with a burning passion. Momiji and Rentaro swap bodies thanks to the Your Name drug, and Momiji goes on a groping rampage using Rentaro's hands. It feels so wrong on so many levels. Call it irrational of me given so much else about this series, but this was just not a good time. Even understanding that it was Momiji from the start, seeing Rentaro do this was just ugh. The following chapter is quite the palate cleanser though. It's an anthology chapter showing snippets of the family's daily lives with each other. My favorite ones are Rin being into Uto's music because it sounds so violent, and Shizuka making herself quote-unquote big for Meme to hide behind, when Meme was not even intending to hide at that moment. It is such a lovely chapter. Please let me know which snippet was your favorite in the comments. I don't want to take up too much time gushing over every single one. We then actually have another Rin chapter, this time with her being on a group date with Rentaro and the other resident genteel ladies, Hikari and MiChumi. They go to a doll store where it's basically set up like Gunpla battles and Gundam Build Fighter. You make your stuffed toy and then they are animated on a virtual tabletop arena where they can do cute doll stuff or battle to the death in gruesome combat. In the middle of their cutesy time, some other player crashes the party with violent destruction, and more importantly, they insult Rentaro, leading to the three ladies to take them on, which ends in this visual. Rin is going into EX tier. I also very much like that Hikari goes all introduction Hahari as well. And I always love MiChumi affirming the wide bounds of beauty beyond the physical. So overall, great chapter. Definitely my favorite full chapter of the volume. Finally, we have a meme chapter, and to reiterate that I've said before in case you're new here, I know it's Mei. Meme is funnier. Anyway, in this chapter, Rentaro discovers that she has a life-size crochet doll of him. I don't know how I actually feel about this chapter and what happens in it. Mostly because all that matters is that the chapter ends with Meme dreaming about hot Rentaro on Rentaro yaoi action. It is very important to me that this be brought up in the future from time to time. And with that, that's the volume proper. Bonus chapter is Baby Rin showing signs of being interested in violence since the very beginning, and looking cute as all hell. Seriously, Rin is such a perfect addition to the cast, because, like I said, while she does get very excited about violence, that's not really that strange. Though that could also just be me talking as a big fan of slasher films. But overall, she seems so incredibly down to earth, and I'm going to enjoy that dynamic going forward, along with the amazing smile that she has. I know I asked for comments twice already during this video, but I am genuinely interested in your thoughts. So tell me what you think about Rin and this volume, along with the other stuff. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you next time in the void. Later.